They say there are lines in the military that are never written down. No regulation, no handbook, no briefing slide, but everyone knows them. And once you cross one of those lines, your career doesn't end slowly. It ends instantly. The training facility, the training compound sat deep in the desert, far from cameras, far from civilians, far from sympathy. Here, weakness was burned out of recruits through exhaustion, discipline, and relentless pressure. This was where Navy SEAL candidates either transformed or broke. The sun hovered mercilessly overhead as recruits stood at attention on the gravel yard, boots aligned, rifles slung, eyes forward. Among them was recruit Maya Hale. Quiet, unassuming, average height, no visible arrogance. To most instructors, she looked like another body in the formation. To Chief Instructor Raymond Cross, she looked like a mistake. The instructor, Cross, was old school, too old school, decorated, feared, protected by reputation. He believed fear made warriors. He believed humiliation built strength. And he believed no one would ever question him. Especially not a recruit. The first mistake. It started small. Extra push-ups, public verbal pressure, sarcasm disguised as motivation. Maya endured it all without reaction. That irritated Cross more than defiance ever could. Recruit Hale, he barked one afternoon, circling her like a predator. You don't look like someone who belongs here. Yes, Chief, she replied calmly. Her voice didn't shake. That was mistake number one. Escalation. Over the following weeks, Cross singled her out relentlessly. He overturned her locker, failed her inspections by millimeters, forced her into extra night drills. Still, no complaints, no reports, no weakness. What Cross didn't know was that Maya Hale had already survived something far worse than him. A past she never spoke of. Maya wasn't new to pressure. Before this base, before the uniform, before the shaved head and dog tags, she had been part of a classified aviation support program. A program so quiet, even most SEALs didn't know it existed. She had flown missions where mistakes meant hundreds of lives. She had watched coordinates turn into firestorms. She had learned that fear was useless in the cockpit. But none of that mattered here. Here, she was just a recruit. The assault. It happened during a late-night combat drill. Rain soaked the ground. Visibility was low. Fatigue was high. Cross snapped. You think you're special, he shouted, shoving her shoulder. The formation stiffened. That shove, that physical contact, crossed the line. He grabbed her vest, yanking her forward. I said move. The yard went silent. Maya didn't strike back. She didn't scream. She didn't retaliate. She did something far more dangerous. She stood perfectly still, and looked him in the eye. And in that moment, something in Cross changed. Fear. Because he suddenly realized, this recruit wasn't afraid of him. Witnesses. What Cross didn't know, what would end his career, was who was watching. From the observation deck above the yard stood 4 men. 4 Navy SEAL colonels, each with decades of combat command behind them. Each silent, each furious. They had come to observe training efficiency. Instead, they witnessed an abuse of authority. And worse, they recognized Maya Hale. Recognition. Colonel Grant was the first to speak. As that, her, Colonel Reyes narrowed his eyes. No way. Colonel Vickers said nothing, but his jaw clenched. Colonel Stone finally whispered, that's the A-10 pilot. The underdog no one knew. Years earlier, during a doomed special operations mission overseas, SEALs had been pinned down. No air support, no extraction, enemy armor closing in. Then the radio crackled. A calm female voice. Call sign. Valkyrie 1. An A-10. Thunderbolt had dropped in low. Dangerously low. 1 run. 1 strike. Enemy armor erased. Lives saved. The SEALs never forgot her. And now, she was standing in the rain. Being assaulted by a training instructor. Immediate consequences. The colonels didn't shout. They didn't storm the yard. They picked up the phone. Within minutes, military police arrived. Cross was pulled off the yard mid-sentence. Confused, angry, still unaware, until he saw who was waiting for him inside. The closed room. Cross stood at attention before 4 colonels. No rank shielded him now. No reputation saved him. Colonel Stone spoke first. Do you know who that recruit is? Cross scoffed. No, sir. That was his final mistake. The reveal. Colonel Reyes slid a file across the table. Cross's face drained of color as he read. Flight records. Mission summaries. Redacted commendations. The name Valkyrie 1. She could kill you, Colonel Grant said calmly. Not because she's violent, Colonel Vickers added, but because she understands consequences. Career termination. Cross was removed immediately. Credentials revoked. Command suspended. Investigation opened. His career didn't end with noise. It ended with silence. The most terrifying kind. Maya's choice. Maya was offered an apology. She declined. She was offered reassignment. She refused. She stayed. Because warriors don't run. The battlefield call. Months later. A real battlefield. SEALs pinned down again. Different country. Same chaos. The radio crackled. Valkyrie 1 inbound. The SEALs smiled. History repeated itself. Legend confirmed. Her strike was flawless. Her timing perfect. Her courage unquestionable. She wasn't underestimated anymore. She was remembered. Final words. In the military, rank matters. But character matters more. And sometimes, the quiet recruit in formation is the deadliest warrior in the sky. If you want to see even better stories like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, leave a comment, and press the bell icon for more updates.